I'm sitting in a dimly lit cafe in old Baghdad, the air thick with the scent of cardamom tea. Across from me is a young scholar, wide-eyed, clutching a worn notebook, asking the question that's haunted generations. Why did Imam Mahdi disappear? I lean back, my mind drifting to centuries past, to whispers of prophecy, to the weight of divine wisdom. But before I answer, I'm pulled back to a dusty street in Medina where a man named Sahal Khurasani once stood before Imam Jafar al-Sadi, asking a question not so different. Let's weave through time, through stories, through trials, to uncover the Shia perspective on the occultation of the 12th Imam. The occultation of Imam Mahdi. Imagine a world spiraling into chaos. Tyrants rule with iron fists, ideologies rise and fall like empires, and the faithful cling to hope amidst a storm of doubt. It's the 9th century, and the Shia are reeling. Their 11th Imam, Hassan al-Askari, has just passed, and whispers spread like wildfire. Where is the Mahdi? Has he been born? Is he even alive? The streets of Samarra buzz with confusion, fear, and a flicker of faith. Some say he's hidden, protected by divine decree. Others doubt, their hearts wavering. But in this moment, the absence of Imam Mahdi isn't just a mystery. It's a test, a shield, a promise. Let's dive into why. Let's start with the heart of it, Allah's will. It sounds simple, doesn't it? It's Allah's decree, I tell the scholar, sipping my tea. But His will is never without purpose. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, tests His creation. Life itself is a crucible designed to refine the soul, to separate the steadfast from the wavering. The occultation of Imam al-Mahdi is one of the greatest tests ever bestowed upon humanity. Why? Because it demands patience in the face of absence, faith in the unseen, and resilience in a world that tempts you to abandon hope. Think about it. The Prophet himself said, Mahdi shall disappear from the sight of the Shia and his followers, and no one shall stay stable in their belief except those whose hearts God has rooted in faith. This isn't just a test of belief, it's a marathon. When the occultation stretches across centuries, doubts creep in. Some question his birth, others wonder if he's still alive, but the faithful hold fast, their hearts anchored by trust in Allah's plan. In the time of Imam Jafar al-Sadi, a man named Sahal Khurasani came to him, brimming with zeal. You have thousands of followers ready to fight for you, he said. Why not rise? The Imam's response was a lesson in divine timing. He pointed to a blazing oven and asked Sahal to step inside. Sahal balked, terrified. But then a devoted follower, Harun al-Makki, walked in without hesitation, unscathed by the flames. The Imam turned to Sahal and asked, how many in Khurasan are like him? Sahal admitted, not one. The Imam's point was clear. True leadership requires true followers, not just in number, but in quality. The world wasn't ready then, and it isn't ready now. Why is Imam Mahdi still hidden? Let's step back into Samarra, where the Abbasid caliphs ruled with paranoia. The Imams of Al-Bayt were a threat, not because they led armies, but because their presence exposed the caliph's moral bankruptcy. Their knowledge, their piety, their very existence was a mirror that reflected the ruler's shortcomings. So what did the Abbasids do? They imprisoned, surveilled, and isolated the Imams. Imam Ali al-Hadi was dragged from Medina to Samarra, kept under watch like a prisoner. His son, Imam Hassan al-Askari, lived under house arrest, his every move scrutinized. Now imagine Imam Mahdi born into this world of treachery. Had he appeared openly, the Abbasids would have hunted him down. His life, his mission, would have been snuffed out before it could begin. The occultation, then, was a divine shield. As one narration puts it, God saved the Imam from the danger of being killed, for had he appeared from the beginning, he would have been slain. His absence isn't a retreat, it's a strategy, preserving him until the world is ready for his revolution. Here's another layer, and it's a powerful one. The 12th Imam is no ordinary leader. He's not bound by the compromises of this world. According to Shia tradition, Imam Mahdi will never bow to an oppressive ruler, not even as a pretense. Unlike others who might practice taqiyya, concealing their faith to survive, he is free from such obligations. His mission is to establish justice without compromise, to rule by Allah's laws without secrecy. This sets him apart. Every other imam lived under the shadow of tyrants, navigating a world where their followers were persecuted. But the Mahdi waits hidden until the moment when no flag of oppression can claim his allegiance. His occultation ensures he remains untethered, ready to rise when the time is right. The scholar leans forward, his eyes gleaming. But why the wait? Why centuries of absence? I smile, stirring my tea. Let's go back to Medina, to the time of the Prophet. The Prophet once told Imam Ali that if he had 40 loyal followers, he should rise to claim his right. But after the Prophet's passing, the numbers dwindled. The faithful were too few, the risks too great. The same holds true for Imam Mahdi. He needs 313 virtuous helpers, men and women of unparalleled faith, wisdom, and courage. These aren't ordinary followers. They're the elite, forged in the fires of trial. And it's not just the 313 he needs, I continue. 40,000 more to fill the ranks of his government. These people don't appear overnight. They're cultivated through generations of striving, learning, and purifying the soul. Every act of obedience, every step toward knowledge brings us closer to that moment. The scholar nods, scribbling furiously. So we're part of the preparation? Exactly, I say. The occultation isn't passive, it's a call to action, to prepare ourselves, our communities for his return. Now let's zoom out to the modern world. Communism promised utopia, but crumbled under its own weight. Capitalism, with its glittering facade, is buckling under debt and moral decay. Every ism humanity has tried, socialism, nationalism, secularism, has shown its cracks. The Shia believe that Imam Mahdi will appear when these ideologies have exhausted themselves, when people raise their hands in despair, crying out for a divine solution. This is why the occultation endures. The world must reach a breaking point where the failures of human systems are undeniable. Only then will hearts open to the Mahdi's leadership. As the Hadiths foretell, his return will follow wars, destruction, and the rise of figures like Dajjal and Sufyani, symbols of chaos and deception. When humanity is ready to accept a divinely appointed guide, he will emerge. The occultation is a mercy. Back in the cafe, the scholar's face softens. So the occultation is a mercy. I nod. It's a mercy, a test, and a promise. The Shia faced unimaginable trials after Imam Hassan al-Askari's passing. Some wavered, believing in only 13 imams or doubting the Mahdi's existence. But the scholars, armed with the Prophet's traditions and the Quran, held firm. They preserved Shiism, guarding its truth against persecution. I lean closer. Think of it like this. The occultation is a mirror. It shows us who we are. Do we despair or do we strive? Do we cling to faith or do we drift? The Mahdi's absence isn't abandonment, it's an invitation to grow, to prepare, to become worthy of his return. The legacy of the Imams is a foundation for the future. Let's weave back to the past. The Imams, from Ali to Hassan al-Askari, weren't just leaders, they were teachers, preserving the Prophet's message in a world that sought to silence them. Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, in a rare moment of freedom during the Umayyad-Abbasid clashes, taught thousands, including figures like Abu Hanifa. His classes laid the foundations of Shia jurisprudence, theology, and ethics. But the world wasn't ready for their vision. The Imams were killed one after another, just as prophets were before them. The Prophet himself said, "No prophet was ever annoyed as much as me." The people's rejection of divine guidance didn't end with him. It continued through the Imams, and yet the Shia endured, their faith unshaken, their scholars safeguarding the truth through centuries of persecution. The scholar closes his notebook, his eyes distant. So the occultation is about us as much as it is about him. I nod. The cafe is now quiet, the night settling in. Exactly. The Mahdi waits for us to be ready, for our hearts, our actions, our world to align with his mission. Every step you take toward righteousness, every moment you resist despair, you're preparing the ground for his return. I pause, letting the weight of it sink in. The occultation isn't just a mystery, it's a challenge. It's Allah asking, will you trust me? Will you strive for me? When the time comes, when the 313 are ready, when the world cries out for justice, he'll appear. And when he does, it won't just be the end of the wait, it'll be the beginning of a new world. The scholar smiles, a spark of hope in his eyes, and as I finish my tea, I feel it too, the promise of a future where the Mahdi's light will shine unbroken, eternal.